Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to RedLipstickVibes, where the vibe is always positive. Y'all know what today is. Today we're going to be talking about some autism stuff today. Okay. I just wanted to come comment and give you guys some important information, especially if you have your little ones or big ones in the public school system. So let's get everything out the way. Y'all know the goals. The goals are 10 memberships. Memberships are only $2.99, and Mr. Cato's birthday is this month, y'all. So we have changed the paper towel fund to the Cato's birthday fund. Okay. So shout out to Mr. Caleb. Mr. Caleb is officially a grown man. So we're looking for $80 towards the Cato's birthday fund via Cashapp or PayPal at Red Lipstick Vibes on both. Okay. Since we got that out of the way, guys, we are not going to prolong anything. We're just going to get right into it. And shout out to everybody that's tuning in already. Thank you, Eric Jordan, for coming through with the Cash App early. Thank you for the $5 Cash App. Phenomenal content and support Black media. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here. So let us get into it, baby. Okay. Hey guys, here I go. Here I go. You know, people like, I'm just an avatar around here, This all me and my cuteness, okay? Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. Shout out to everybody that's going to be tuning in later to see what I had to present today. So today, we're going to talk about the IE process. So if you don't already know that, if you have your little one in public school system and in some private school institutions, and this is law, right? So usually the IEP process usually happens 60 days within the school year. So we're in October now, right? So that's right about the time for people to come and start getting their IEPs for their child with a disability. So of course, I focus on autism because I am a nationally certified autism navigator. So I've always, tend to talk about autism. So I'm not excluding any other disability, but autism is my specialty. I'm not only an autism navigator, I am an autism mom. Okay. So now we got that out the way. Oh, wait a minute. Let's go back because I gotta play my little jingle. Let's go back to this. Okay. So again, today's 10 memberships and $80 towards the Kata's birthday fund via Cash App or PayPal. And I gotta play his little thing. I gotta play his little thing. I gotta play it. I gotta play it.
Don't forget to support the Paper Towel Fund on Cash App, Red Lipstick Vibes.
All right. Let's go back to our presentation. Okay. Okay, guys. So let's get into it. I mean, we're not gonna prolong it. You know what I mean? Let's get into it. So today we're going to talk about the IEP process, empowering parents in the autism community. What parents need to know, okay? The IEP roadmap, empowering parents with children with autism, essential knowledge for navigating the IEP process in the U.S. So today we're going to go overview of the IEP process. What kinds of supports do the IEP provide students? How to support family attending the IEP meetings, who to contact, what to expect to do, and what to say. Helpful hints for parents, and at the end, we're going to give a little bit of resources and guidelines. So, what is a IEP? I put a poll in the chat, and I want to know who knows what an IEP is, right? A lot of people don't know. So I'm just going to give a brief overview. So I'm not going to read everything. So you can just glance over it. And also, just so you know that I do have a workbook for parents for the IEP process. That's one of the things we're going to talk about. I believe I talked about this earlier within the year when I did the autism symposium on what you should have. And you should always keep a notebook. And so within this workbook, I have everything that's in this presentation and a lot more that you should have in your IEP notebook. Okay. So an IEP is a support tool designed for students with special needs to ensure they have an educational program that meets their needs. The IEP is a legal plan under the IDEA, which is the Individuals with Disability Education Act, okay? Outlining who, what, when, why, where, and how of instructions and related services are to be provided to that student. It also outlines modification, adaptions, and the special services that are to be provided to the student. It is reviewed regularly and updated at least annually. So you can pause and read the rest. We're going to go through all the other stuff. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. Please hit the like button. We are going over the IEP process. So if you have a student that is in school, and just know that the IEP is not just geared to students with autism, okay? So any child with any disability can get a IEP plan, okay? And it is your right to do so as well, especially if you're in the public school system. All right, computer, what we doing? Oh, here we go. So here are some of your legal foundations, your core rights under the IDEA. You have the FAPE, which is the free appropriate public education. This your child is entitled to an education tailored to their unique needs that provide meaningful educational benefits and at no cost to you. This is under um, that law, okay? And then we have the LRE, the least restrictive environment. Your child must be educated alongside their non-disabled peers to the maximum extent appropriate. So, I mean, because sometimes some kids need inclusion and some kids need exclusion. We'll go through that. And then, of course, you have the IEP contract. So, the IEP education funding. So what happens is the IEP is for ages between the ages of 3 and 21, which is catered to the child's disability, right? Um, it is offered in every state, should be, okay? If it's not, then that's a problem because that's government law. Children who have disabilities that results in a adverse impact on their educational purposes provides specialty design, instruction, accommodations, and modifications, and includes special education and related services for the student, including support for school personnel, parent counseling when necessary to provide meaningful benefits to the student. So, and then we also have the 504 Civil Rights Act. Okay, so if you are not getting uh, if your child is not getting what he needs, you are covered under the IDEA and the 504 Civil Rights Act as well. The 504 Civil Rights Act as well covers from birth to death. The Office of Civil Rights protects children with disabilities from discrimination because of their needs. Okay. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. Please hit that like button. Thank you for tuning in. Shout out to Truth for being in here. Hi, Truth. How are you doing? Again, if you have little ones and you're expecting them to have some type of disability and you're about to put them in pre-K, daycare, kindergarten, so these are some things that you should know, okay? Let's go to the next slide. Okay, we have 7 kinds of IEPs, okay? So we have the standard IEP. So this one focuses on making sure the child has access to general curriculum with accommodations and support. So they may not need exclusion or inclusion. So the standard IEP is what you would get. Then there is an exclusion or general IEP, right? The student spends most of their day in a general education classroom, meaning they are not in the what you call it, the general population. Okay, I guess we put it like that. The IEP focuses on accommodations like extended testing time, speech therapy, pullouts, classroom support, rather than full special education classes. So this is what you call inclusion. Okay, so if your child needs inclusion, you will receive this type of IEP. Then you have the pullout and resource IEP. The student spends part of the day in the special education resource room with a specialist and then goes into general population, if that makes sense. And then you have the self-contained IEP. And this is when the student is solely separated from the other educational classrooms. Okay, the students spend most of all of their time in separate special education classroom. Curriculum and pace are modified more heavily, so it's very different from the inclusion and the pullout. Used for students who need more support. Most of the time, I think we'll go over that too. Like they need like a paraprofessional. They need like a support buddy next to them. Then you have the functional life skill IEP. So this one is focused on daily living skills, communication, behavior, and job training. Most of the time, this will happen in high school. You will receive this type of IEP. So it usually is a an addition to the standard IEP, depending on where your child's level is. Then you would get a functional IEP. Then the transition IEP, again, is geared to high school students when they're about to transition out of high school. Requires starting at age 16, sometimes early, depending on your state. Focuses on preparing the students for life after high school, like vocational training, college readiness, independent living, and employment goals. Then you have the early childhood IEP. This is for children ages 3 to 5. It focuses on development life stones like speech, motor skills, and social skills, right? So just know that the IEP is always individualized, not all one size fit all. Don't ever let nobody tell you that, okay? A student might have a mix of elements and examples. A high schooler might have both a functional skills plan and a transition plan. That's why I told you, like, it may have some of that one, some of one, and some of the other. So here is just a few of the disabilities that are you have a right to get an IEP for your child. So we have autism, um, communication impairment if your child is developmentally delayed, your child has emotional impairment, health impairments, intellectual impairments, neurological impairments, physical impairments, sensory impairments. So, and some of those could be they're deaf or hard of hearing, visual, meaning they're partially blind or blind, any type of traumatic brain injury, speech and language issues, mental retardation, and other health issues could be under this, okay? Wait a minute, did you do? Okay, so this is just showing a little roadmap of what the IEP process should go. So it starts out with the child is identified as having a problem being in the general population of a school. Then your child gets evaluated. The eligibility is decided. The child is found eligible for the services, and then you have the IEP meeting, which we're about to talk about now. The IEP meeting, and then in the IEP meeting, you talk with the parents, support group, the professionals to determine what services are provided for your child, what your child needs. Okay. All right, now we're on 11. Okay, so first things first. So if you feel or you see that your child is having some issues, and sometimes, a lot of times, because I tell you that it's 60 days within the school year, right? So 60 days within the school year, what happens is teachers are usually evaluating the students to see where they fall in, to see where they are lacking. Are they talking? Are they interacting with the other students? Are they participating? So here is where you or the teacher may put in submitting a request for an IEP evaluation. And again, like I said, the timeline is usually 60 days within the school year. In October, November is usually when they start to do IEPs. Okay. The evaluation may include academic, speech, OT, PT, and behavior specialists. So here is the timeline for the IEP process. 1, you submit the referral or request. The school does the evaluation of the child, right? Then you have an eligibility meeting. And then there's an IEP meeting and development. So this is where you come together to create a plan for your child. Then it's implementation. And then usually before the end of the year, maybe I'll say around about April. Caleb usually had his around March or April. I'm going into May before the end of the school year. You have an annual review. And then you get a re-evaluation every 3 years. Now, that one is not, it depends on the state and it depends on the school and it depends on the severity of the disability as well, because every year some students receive a IEP from the states where I have lived. So that every 3 years could be, different by the states. Okay. Shout out to everybody that's coming in. Okay, the IEP team meeting. Who can come? Okay. So the student, if over 14, the parent. Also with the parent, you can bring someone that is maybe someone else is helping you with your child, depending on the disability or whatever. If you have someone that is sort of like a support person or another family member, the grandparents, whoever that is very involved in the care of the child should be at the IEP meeting. Okay. Then we have the general and or special education teachers, the specialists. There should be speech therapists there, OT, PT, behavioral counselor, therapist, psychologist, whatever, whatever disability your child has and disability, they should be at the IEP meeting. Okay. The district representative, and if you need an interpreter should be there as well. So you should have all these things. All these people should be there. Okay. Okay, let's go with some services that should be provided by your state. Okay. No ifs and buts about it. It should be. It's the law. Okay. So speech therapy should be available. OT, occupational therapy, counseling or social work. Assertive technology. Assertive technology is the PEC system or communication apps. So the PEC system is like a picture exchange. I have a live stream on visual aids. I'll link that in the description as well after the show. So if you want to know a little bit more on the assertive technology that you can have for your child, that would be a good live to watch. Also, paraprofessionals, or support aides. So some kids need someone with them at all times. Transportation, physical therapy, behavior specialists, extended school year services. Now, I'm not quite sure about every state, but I know a lot of the states do have extended school year services. So these are some of the services that should be provided. Okay. All right, parents' rights and roles. Parents, it is your right to request an evaluation or a re-evaluation. It is your right to request an IEP or IEE. It is your right to do a mediation or have a due process hearing. It is your right to gain information in your primary language. So if you speak another language and they trying to hand you something in English, no. You're supposed to hand it to the language that I speak in. Okay. Parents have the right and responsibility to participate in the decisions. Decisions are not final until you say it is final. Okay. Active parents' involvement in the IEP process is strongly emphasized in the IDEA. EA. Okay. Parents' role, your equal voice in the IEP team. So don't be silent. Okay. Provide strengths and needs, bring documentation and private evaluations, and ask questions. Okay. Here is what you need to do before you go to the IEP meeting. Okay. So the first thing you do, you're going to submit the evaluation, right? However, make sure that you, and I tell you this all the time. I tell you parents this all the time. Make sure that you have all your I have a what you call those things? Those totes. I have a giant tote, and it's filled with nothing but Mr. Caleb stuff. I have documentation from the first day he went to pre-K. No matter of fact, before pre-K, when he was in like a little Head Start thing. So I keep everything. Okay. So here is the point where you need to gather all your information, any medical information, work samples, report cards from the past, progress reports, past IEPs, classroom observations, therapist reports, anything and everything. This is what you need to have. Okay. Because these teachers most time they are new to your child, especially if they're new to your child, right? So if you go into a new school, you want to make sure that they have the whole outlook of your child. Okay. Two, don't be afraid to dream big. Draft a vision statement with your child's input, or if he's too little, but kind of get some goals in mind of what you want to see your child achieve that school year. Don't just let them tell you. You tell them. Okay. You have to be an advocate for your child. You have to speak up for your babies. Okay. A lot of times, I can speak from experience. When your kid is in school, he doesn't do the same thing he does at home, right? So they'll say, "Oh, but he doesn't know how to do this," and then you be like, "Child, what you talking about?" Yes, he did, because he do it at home, right? So this is a perfect time for you to have all those things written down, examples, and everything to let them know. Don't let that little joker get away to act like he don't know how to do it or she don't know how to do it, because they do it at home, they can do it here. So, because kids be sleep. Okay. um, what is next? Assess your child's present level of ability. So, not only rely on what the teacher tells you that what they do in the classroom, but also you need to be teaching your kid at home as well. Okay. I tell y'all all the time, parenting and teaching doesn't stop at the school. It doesn't even begin at the school. That's the middle. Teachings to start at home and finishes at home as well. So you should be able to assess where your child is in reading, math, writing, social skills, emotional skills, gross motor skills, self-care, all that. You should be paying attention to your kid, okay? And I think that's one of the problems. They're paying attention to the churns, okay? And then they don't know, and then, well, that's a whole nother conversation. um, So the next one is consider inviting a trusted friend. Like I always said, you can always bring someone to the IEP to kind of help you to advocate for your child. So I would suggest you bring somebody that knows your child, knows the situation, that is very active with your kid, so that it can help you advocate and take notes. If you need a translator, make sure that they know that you need a translator ahead of time, not the day of, but ahead of time. Okay. Make sure you review the handbook, because you may have questions out of there. And fill out the IEP parent interview form completely and return it to the school. That's very important, because that's a part of the contract. Okay, we're gonna go over that also. And have a conversation with the teacher over the phone or by email, using the pre-IEP parent interview form. And I just told you, make sure you fill it out and return it to the school. And so if you need to have a conversation with the teacher, then this is the time for you to do it. Okay. Any questions so far? Shout out to everybody that is tuning in. Let me see what's going on in the chat. Shout out to Corey Joe. Corey Joe is in the building. Corey Joe, hey Corey Joe. Thank you for guys for tuning in. Make sure I hit that like button. Okay, let's go back. All right. During the meeting, this is what you should know. Ask everybody for their names and what is their role. Who is you? What you do? And what do you do with my child? I want to know. Okay. If you hear any acronyms or something that you don't understand, don't be afraid to say, "Can you explain it to me?" Please don't do that. Make sure you know. Can you explain it to me? Okay. Focus on the data. If the data shows X, Y, X challenge, so we need to do Y service and goals to address it. Take detailed notes. Who said what and when and how, okay? Also check with your state with about audio recordings. Because like a couple of times when I the different states that I've lived in, a couple of times I actually had family members on the video screen because they couldn't be at the meeting, so they were actually was able to be there via video call. So that was a good thing. But if you want to record the conversation, check that state about those recordings. Make sure you check that out before you stop doing it. Okay. Be informed, strong voice, advocating for the best interests of your child. Please do not be silent when you feel like something that they need or something needs to be addressed. Please do not be silent. You have to advocate for your child. You have to advocate for your child, the best for your child's best interest. You can't just sit there and let people just tell you what you need to do for your child. You know your child better than anybody else. They came out of you, okay? Whether it's dad or mom, they came out of you, okay? So you know your child's best, okay? Expect goals that address are measurable and appropriate challenges. Find out how the progress will be measured. So when they're telling you we want to do observation on him doing this, doing that, okay, how are you going to measure that? Ask questions, people. Please ask questions. Who is you? What y'all doing in the chat? Okay. Is y'all behaving? What y'all doing? Y'all, Corey, EJ, cut it out. What y'all doing? Okay. Um considered related services that might be needed, because sometimes you have to be very careful, because sometimes they will say that your child needs something. So they say your child needs OT, but you feel they need speech therapy and PT. Okay. Don't let them bully you and say that your child can't have it. Okay. It is your right. It is your child's right. Note which modifications and accommodations are proposed. Make sure you understand every last thing that they are proposing. Okay. Come to a consensus about where the IEP services will be delivered. That means will he be using inclusion? Will he be being able to be in classroom with the other students? So you need to familiarize yourself with all these things. Start early discussing what will happen after high school. Consider now what will pave the way for a successful post-secondary education, employment, and independent living. I don't care if they're in second grade. Put that little nugget out there, okay? What's going to happen when they go to middle school? What's going to happen when they go to high school? So make sure you ask those questions, all right? Oh, go back. Woo! Wait a minute. I skipped. Oh, here we go. All right. Here are some questions to ask before and during the meeting, okay? This is just a few questions. So if you want to, so just so you know that these questions and a whole bunch more is going to be in the workbook, in the handout. So again, if you want a handout, just leave a comment, say, Ms. Ty, please send it to me. I need it. Also, it's going to be on the ACCP website as well, so you can just download it. And I'm going to put the link in the description and in the comment section. Okay, so here's some of the questions. What are the goals for the IEP meeting? How does everyone in the meeting know my child? Could this hair is like right in my eye, y'all. Could you tell me about my child's day so I can understand what it looks like? So you do want to, now you can ask that question, but me, see, I do pop-ups at the school. Okay. I do pop-ups. I will show up, pop up, and I'll just be like, I watch and observe. So teacher on God tell me what they do. I already know because I done showed myself. I will pop up real quick. Okay, we were like they would hear them heels coming out of the hallway. They be like, oh, here come Caleb's mom. Look, child, I ain't playing. Okay. But anyway, let's get to the questions. So here's some more questions. Who will work with my child on a daily basis? And those people that are working with your child, you may want to know what their training is, like where they come from, or are they certified, or they do they have their degrees in whatever they're supposed to be working with your child with. Let me pick another question. Who's the person to contact if I want to call another meeting? Make sure you have contact information for all of the therapists that's going to be working with your child, the teacher, the paraprofessional, everybody. Child, I had the phone number for the lunch lady. Okay. I had I wasn't even though Mr. Caleb didn't eat lunch at the school, because Mr. Caleb, child, he needs rice and chicken and greens and stuff. He went down with that stuff they still serve at school. Even though he went to private school, the school still served craziness. So Mr. Caleb wanted food. So even though he took his lunch to school, but I still wanted to know that the lunch lady was there. I was like, did he eat all his lunch today? Did he have time for it? Child, I had everybody number. I wasn't playing. And y'all should not be playing about y'all children. Y'all should not be trusting y'all children with these people. Y'all trusting these people with y'all children too much. Huh? Okay, I'm just saying. Ain't nothing wrong with being a hands-on parent. Somebody say, "Oh, you a helicopter mom?" Or you doing? No, these days and times, people be doing the most. Okay, to your children. Ain't nothing wrong with being hands-on parent. Okay, I'm just saying. Okay. So these are some of the questions, and again, this is going to be in the handbook, in the workbook. Okay. So after the IEP meeting, okay, so this is where you want to make sure that you have read everything. Everything was explained to you. Everything that you see in there was explained in details. There, you should not have any questions in your mind. You need to make sure that you understand everything. Okay. You logged everything. Any type of disagreement that you may have or whatever. This is what time you should need to address this before, after you put your John Hancock on it. Okay. Just know that the IEP is a contract. Okay, it is a contract. So once you sign the contract. Okay. So make sure you review it thoroughly before consenting. Make sure you understand it thoroughly before consenting, because once you sign a contract. Okay. Okay, let's see the next line. We almost done, guys. This is not gonna be long. Okay, if you have a teenager and this is their first IEP as a teenager, so You do have a right to have your teenager to get an IEP. The IEP entitles your teen the plan created by the IEP team and the student. This is where we said in the slide before that ages from age 14 can be present at the IEP meeting. This is what we're talking about, okay? It outlines steps to prepare for a young adulthood. Transition services can start as early as age 14. That's when I said that the student at age 14 can be at the IEP meeting. So you see how that comes together. There's a mandatory by the age of 16. Transition plan paves the way for your teen's future after high school. It outlines the required courses and learning needed in high school to support their goals, whether it be college, vocational school, or finding a job. This is for your teenager, okay? The plan also covers teens need to live independently. So this is where we come in with the functional IEP, right? Teaching life skills, teaching self-care. That's in the functional IEP that we talked about earlier, right? This plan also covers teens' need to live independently, managing money, paying bills, using public transportation, staying healthy, and balancing work. In most states, teens have an IEP and turns 18 become legally responsible for consenting to and asking for changes to the IEP. So if you have a young person that's in high school and they're at the age of 18, because most schools will have a transition period where the child actually can stay in high school until the age 21, I believe. In some states, it's age 21 or 22. Special education services for students with the IEP in either when your teen has earned a regular high school diploma or has reached the cutoff age. In some states, the cutoff age is either 21 or 22. So your teen could go to high school up until the age of 22. And so this is where the functional IEP comes in and the transitional IEP comes in, where they're teaching them life skills, where they're teaching them how to get a job, or if they want to go to college, and this is where those IEPs comes in, okay? So pause and read if y'all guys want to see more information. Again, all this information and much more will be in the workbook, okay? Okay. Okay, 6 tips to make sure your child's IEP is implemented properly. Okay, because people they be doing the most in these schools, sometimes they get IEP fatigue. Sometimes they get IEP fatigue, baby. Okay. And look, be doing the most out here. So we don't want to have IEP fatigue around here. Okay. So I would suggest check-ins with the teacher. Very, very important. Like Mr. Cato has been out of school since for like 3 years now. Me and his teacher still check in. Okay. Every now and then, some of his middle school teachers, his high school paraprofessional, all of them we check in. What is Mr. Cato doing? How it's done? Do you need things? Do you need some activities for him to do? Blah, 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 all that. So it's very important to create a healthy communication between you and okay. That is very, very important. We need that. Okay. Number 2, contact the team leader if the IEP isn't being honored. If you think the school isn't delivering all the services and support in your child's IEP, because again, it's not just a contract on your side, it's a contract on their side as well. You need to be able to speak up. You can contact your IEP team leader, which 9 times out of 10 is the teacher, and work together to get your child's necessary support. Follow up to make sure those corrections happen. Number 3, if things don't improve, request a special IEP team meeting. This is your right. You can do that. So don't be afraid, okay, to speak it for yourselves, okay? Number 4, know your child's special educators and their schedules. It goes back to being a hands-on parent. Please, I can't say it enough. Missy says it all the time. I say it all the time. We tell you, you have to be a hands-on parent. You got to be involved. You need to know everybody that's around your child, their schedules, where they're at, what they're doing, all that. Make sure you read the progress report. Most schools give progress reports, right? So make sure you're reading the progress reports, understanding the progress reports. If you have an issue with any of the progress reports, make sure you make that phone ring. Or like how I would do, I would just show up, child. I'll just, child. I just show up to the school, child. I don't got time. Unannounced and everything, child. Just show up. Like, whatever. That's my child. So I'm just saying. um, Watch, listen, and read between the lines. Keep an eye on your child's homework. Again, look at going back to what I just said. Keep your eye on your child's homework, classroom test scores. Is the teacher adjusting assignments as noted in the IEP? Are they getting accommodations? Um, some kids need more than just a calculator. Some they need more tools from when they're doing their math, and when they're doing their reading, when they're doing their writing. Or is your child getting all those things? These are the things that you should know. Okay, I'm just saying. You should know this. You should know this. And if you see that your things are not being suited, talk to your child. If your child is older, talk to them, ask them questions on how it is going, and kind of get the feel of the child in the classroom. So, like for instance, before I took Mr. Caleb out of public schools, I couldn't figure out why my son would cry. He did not like going to this lady's classroom. And so, my little devil horns came out. I was like, I know this heifer. I was about to say another word. I know this heifer is not doing something to my kid, right? So when I went up to, I snuck, well, not snuck up, but I went up to the school and I just stood by the door and observed. And I figured out why he did not like this class. So he was in the classroom with kids that did not have autism. They had other issues. And he was very, very uncomfortable. He was uncomfortable physically, mentally, and spiritually, and it was bothering him. So I petitioned the school and did another IEP. Like, he needs to be out of that classroom. This class, it's not for him. So yeah, so you have to pay attention. Pay attention to your children, Jesus Christ. I can't say that enough. Pay attention to your children's when they at school. Do some drive-bys and stuff. I mean, because all kinds of stuff could be happening and you don't even know, especially if your child is nonverbal, right? Like, what is y'all doing? Leaving your kids there all day long and not. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Lord have mercy. 100 Watts is in the chat. Hey, 100 Watts is in the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Chicago. Really? Hi, Rilla. Rilla said, these conversations we need. Do you even know what an IEP is? A lot of people don't know what it is. Some grown adults don't even know. Some educators don't even know what it is. Chicago, Rilla. So basically advocate for your kid. Okay. Basically advocate for your kid. All right. Okay. So here's something that a lot of parents did not know. You can consent to just parts of the IEP and not others. Did y'all know that? Okay. You do not have to adhere to everything that they suggest. You can consent to part. Okay. The IDEA also allows you to give partial consent to an initial IEP, to agree to some parts but not others. So if a school administrator say to you, if you don't sign the whole IEP, we can't give your child services. That's BS. They lying to you. Mm-mm. Yes, you can. Under the law, yes, you can. That is incorrect. An IEP is not an all or nothing choice. Okay? So you can actually just do part. So you may not use you may or may not use a parent's refusal to consent to one a service or an activity to deny the parent or a child of any services, benefit, or activity. Keep in mind that you only partially consent to your child's initial IEP. Once an IEP is in place, you can still revoke your consent. Okay. Okay, you still can revoke your consent. This does not mean the IEP is set in stone, though. You can dispute resolutions to request changes to the IEP you consented to earlier, and you still have stay put right to keep services in place. So don't let the administrators and teachers bully you and say that you have to agree to everything. No, you do not. That is not the law. Okay. Again, everybody, the everything that's in this presentation and so much more will be in the workbook. Again, I'll leave a comment in the comments and in the description so that you can either shoot me a DM, email, or I'm going to leave the link to download the actual workbook and with all this information for you as well. So we're just going through it right now. So this is what an IEP generally looks like. This is what an IEP generally looks like. Okay. So you have all the information at the top. So the main thing you want to focus on is the elements of the IEP, where you have the strengths or special interests, you have the needs of the child, you have the current professional level of performance of the child, and this part you really need to pay attention to because you want to make sure it's correct, because like I said earlier, sometimes kids do things at home but they don't do it at school, or vice versa, right? So a teacher may not know that they can read a whole book by themselves because they won't read a whole book at the school. Okay, so this is when you need to gather information and bring that information with you, video clips or anything like that at the IEP meeting, so they can know that your kid is shamming, okay, at school. they playing in your face at school. Okay. Also, you'll see the section where you have the goals or domain areas. This is where you have the academic or behavior, communications or functional academics. You have the health factor, the independence or the independent, physical functioning, gross or fine motor skills. So all these measures will be in that area. And here is one of the main things you need to pay attention is the goals and objectives. Okay. So you have the goals and the strategies to help your child learn that are different from the expected learning outcomes set out in the curriculum, right? A guide for a course. So say, like we say, math or reading, right, or subject or grade. Then you have the objectives. The objectives is that are specific and measurable, relevant, and timely. So you may have a timeline for the child to reach that goal. Okay. Like sometimes, like maybe before the end of the school year, your child should be able to fold his clothes. I'm just using an example. Also in the goals and objectives sections, what will the student achieve towards the goals, where, when, and under what conditions, and what's the criteria for success? Meaning, how is this child going to get to these goals, right? How is this child going to meet these objectives? So this is a very, very important section that you need to pay attention to in the IEP. This is the section where you need to be like, I don't agree with this, I don't agree with that, I don't agree with this, I don't think that they should have this type of services, or I think they should have more services. So this is the type of stuff you need to pay attention to. Okay. Here's another look at what an IEP may look like. I just want to give you, because in some states they look a little different. They have a little bit of things. So this is what another one. And so you have the time frame, right? We talked about that earlier. You have the conditions, the grade level or the condition of your child. You have your child's skills, the support, what kind of support that they need, accuracy, the evaluation, and then you have the IEP goals. So this is how it all filters out. And then this is when you make the IEP team meeting, and then the team meets to go over this with you and your child if he's over 14. Any questions so far? Here are some resources that you may find helpful. Autism Society of America, Autism Speaks, Autistic Self-Advocacy Network, Organization for Autism Research, the National Autism Association, Next for Autism, the Autism Community in Action. That's a very good one. And Spectrum Designs Foundation. I also put down all this is going to be in the comment section in the description. Some videos that may be helpful for you to watch. Okay, and these are all on YouTube. And again, today's lesson and all the other lessons that I have is on the website. If you want me to send the workbook to you, which is a PDF, okay, just send me a quick message in the comment and say send it to me. I will send it to you, or you can either DM me if we're on any social media platforms like the Instagram or Facebook. You can just let me know and I can send it to you. And also it will be loaded onto the website as well. Okay. So that was it, y'all. I mean, I wouldn't want to be up here all day. Shout out to everybody that came in. Chicago Ruler. He says no child left. But you know what? A lot of children get left behind, not because of the school system, but parenting, lack of parenting. They're left behind. So shout out to you. He said, "How much to drop E Black? Huh? What? E Black ain't up here? What you talking about? What is going on in the chat, y'all?" Shout out to Arshawn and E Black them came in. Thank you guys for coming through. Thank you. Let's see with the we got a few super chats and stuff. Shout out to Eric Jordan for the $5 super chat. He says phenomenal content and support Black media. Corey Joe came in with the $5 super chat and says $5 from Corey Joe. Okay, do better. Shout out to everyone that have tuned in. I hope this information has helped you, especially those who have little ones that are in school or going to be in school for the IEP process, because a lot of people don't know what the IEP process is. And thank you guys for supporting the channel. Oh, not that one.
Oh, thanks for the Cash Apps. Now I can buy all these paper towels.
Shout out to Mr. Caleb. Shout out to Mr. Caleb. Y'all, thank you guys for tuning in and supporting the show. I did get one Cash App, a $5 Cash App from my phone. Hold on, y'all. I got a $5 Cash App from. God darn it. My phone acting up, y'all. A $5 Cash App from Nakia. Thank you, Nakia. Thank you for tuning in. I think she's on the Facebook side. Thank you, Nakia. Again, thank you again.
Oh, thanks for the Cash Apps. Now I can buy all these paper towels.
Thank you again. Shout out to everybody that tuned in. I hope this helps. And a lot of the information is going to be in the description later on. Then if you want the workbook, you have the opportunity to get the download, to be able to download the workbook. It's in the PDF file. So I hope that everyone enjoyed the information. Eric, y'all in the chat acting up. Time is in the building. Thank you, Time, for coming through. Thank you, everybody, for coming through. I appreciate each and every one of you. And having said that, I am done. I hope this information will help somebody. And y'all know how to do. Bye.
As soon as the show over, he do like this. Well, I'm ready to go. Hello, why do they doubt the kid? I'm about to prove them all wrong again. I got a low tolerance, cause they don't even know what the problem is. It's me. You waiting on the boy to fail, then hold your breath and face your death. Cause you play a roulette with each step I progress, no less. Go ahead and place your bets, cause we know where we at, we know we top tier. Cause all the hate that you bring, we know it stops here. I'm taking off like a rocket here, ain't stopping here. It's strange how they cannot see the future, but see profit here. Wait up, we gon' always win. Promise that that's not a promise, yeah, that is a threat. You know that I promise to bring the team commas. When the whole team win, that's when you flex. Win, and I'ma do it again. Watch me win, then watch me do it again. Tell 'em I can't take no loss. My team hold no L's, no. Aiming for the top, can't make it by myself. I ain't taking no loss. I ain't taking no loss. Look, I'ma always win. I ain't taking no loss. Look, I'ma always win. We already know that we the coldest. Watch me heat it up, let me focus. I'm going toe to toe with foes. I know they notice. I kick in doors, they only hope for closing. Why? Cause they know I go again and go again. And when they get it dry, I'm the one that can make it flow again. Talk to me nice, my team they ready to go again. Running into us, we gladly send you home again. Yo, we don't talk, better know the grind gon' match my walk. I'm a cheat code, I don't take no loss. Making no sense, run up the scope. Cause all I do is win, and I'ma do it again. Watch me win, then watch me do it again. Tell 'em I can't take no loss. My team hold no L's, no. Aiming for the top, can't make it by myself. I ain't taking no loss. I ain't taking no loss.